Hey there, you found Off the Water, the premier kayak fishing show for the Gulf Coast. We interview the best anglers to find out what they did, where they went, and what they used. Fishing reports, cool products and accessories, upcoming kayak tournaments, kayak safety, rigging tips and tricks, sponsor highlights, club member specials, and more, all on Off the Water, live and podcast. And now, here's your host of Off the Water, Mr. Sean Rastanis.
Hey guys, welcome back to Off the Water. It's your host Darth Yacker here with Ben Day, coming at you live from our studios in Metairie, Louisiana, where we are still staying COVID-free since '93. So glad to have you back tonight. We have some special guests on tonight: Hart Faust, Jessica Thomas Bryant, and Sarah Giles, also known as members of the Salty Chicks. These are all some really good kayak fishing ladies, and they're going to be here to talk to us tonight about their experience, and we'll get to learn a little bit about each of them. If you guys have been on Facebook or anything like that, or on the club site, I'm sure you've seen these ladies posting some pictures. They fished some of our tournaments, and just all around really nice people and really fun to hang around with. So we're going to get to them in a little bit. We're going to talk about Trout Challenge tonight. We've got it coming up. It's going to be, I think this is going to be the first official CPR tournament for Bayou Coast ever. This is the first one ever.
Yes,
I think so. That's kind of neat. You know, we were looking to have one. Maybe we were looking maybe next year or something, but with the COVID striking up and social distancing, we went ahead and had to put this one out. And we wanted to keep the tournament series going. I know we got a lot of people looking forward to it. I think last time I checked, we've got 50 people signed up right now.
Yeah, I think there was.
So we'll probably hit 60 or 70, which isn't bad for, they call it a CPR, but it's really what I like to call, we're probably end up renaming it as a CPS, because we don't actually require that you release the fish. I don't think we do anyway. You can certainly keep them, so it's more like a catch, photo, submit type tournament, because a lot of people are going to get to go out, and, this may be the only time they get to go out, and they're going to want to keep some of those trout that they catch this weekend. And we'll talk a little bit about the rules a little bit later on. But I want to touch base with Ben, because as you can tell, Ben is reporting live from Bridgeside Marina, Grand Isle, Louisiana. The sun is just setting over there in the background. I know you're at the campground right now. You've been there all month with your 7-month pregnant wife.
Yes.
Who is still kayak fishing. I mean, she should be automatically inducted into the Wife Hall of Fame there for kayak fishing at 7 months pregnant. It's an unbelievable story. But, tell us what it's been like down in Grand Isle. I know there was some drama today.
Yes.
I saw Carl Vadrine with the drama. Tell us a little bit about what you're seeing down there, and tell us a little bit about that drama that happened today.
So basically, last year was the first year that I stayed the whole month at Bridgeside for Paddlepalooza, and I had such a great time. I wanted to make it an annual thing, so I did it this year, and I talked to Bridgeside, a week before I went, and they said, everything's good, you can come on. And I talked to Sean, and they're like, we'll probably, move Paddlepalooza or cancel Paddlepalooza, but, I'd still go down there. So I go down there. I'm down there for like 30 minutes. I set my camper up. I sit down and I open up my phone and I see Grand Isle has a checkpoint. And I'm like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? I already paid these people. So I contacted everybody, and because I was staying the whole 30 days and I was there before the checkpoint, I was like grandfathered in, and I was okay to stay. So I've just been there. It's been pretty slow. The only thing that's open is Yums and the Starfish. The beaches are closed. All the piers are closed. The only thing, the launches are open. And they apparently Grand Isle has zero jurisdiction whenever you're on the water. So they don't care as long as you're on the water.
And it's crazy because you're on the island. You basically got the whole island to yourself to fish, because no one else can get on it unless they live there. And they're not fishing anyway. and yet you still can't catch any fish on the island. Explain that to me. Tell me a little bit about that
It's
process.
been
What's going
pretty
on in your head
brutal.
here?
I've probably launched at the Wildlife and Fisheries launch maybe 5 or 6 times in the last 3 weeks, and every time the wind just beat you to death and the water's just super dirty. I'm not getting skunked, but by all means, I mean 2 or 3 trout is or one redfish. And when I can go like 30 minutes up the road to Leeville or Golden Meadow and just get limits, it's just I don't know. I can't figure Grand Isle out.
Yeah, I mean, so your advice to people is obviously don't come to Grand Isle for Trout Challenge because the water's dirty. There's no fish.
Yeah, I wasn't really impressed. I mean, I have videos of me and my wife walking the dogs up the bridge of the Caminata Pass, and my poor 8-pound Pomeranian can hardly walk. So I couldn't imagine like trying to fish in some of these winds. And I guess there's probably like perfect times of the day where you could fish, but even so, the water's just it's like chocolate milk. And I launched a few times off of Highway 1 by the bridges, and it was a lot better. But it's just not moving like it is, in Golden Meadow or even Baseline. Baseline's is like crystal clear compared to down there.
Yeah. Well, Carl Vadrine had some drama today, and for people that know Carl, he's kind of famous around there, right? I mean, he's known for catching the big trout. I don't know. Does he live on the island?
Yeah, he has a camp on the island.
He has a camp on the island.
I think it's probably in the center. I don't know, just by looking at the video that he posted. But yeah, Grand Isle's been releasing their own, I guess, rules, and it's just crazy right now because none of the courts are open. So a lot of people, that are affected by the rules are questioning them. And Carl Vadrine, I guess one of the rules was you can't have golf carts of any kind. And I think the reasoning behind it was because they have a lot of issues with the golf carts because I think a lot of people drink and drive and wreck them. And there's not enough policemen on the island to keep up with the checkpoint and policing a bunch of camp owners driving around on the beach with golf carts. And that's what they were saying. I briefly watched the council meeting, and that's kind of what their reasoning behind it was. I don't think it's a big deal, but I also don't own a golf cart. So, but I did hear now riddle me this. I don't know if this is true or not, but I did hear that they were allowing gators. Like the gasoline like driven, like it's like a 4-wheeler.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So you can drive those, but you can't drive a golf cart. And some people were making a big deal over that, and I'm just like, this is
so people
wild.
are in golf carts all over the summer in Grand Isle. I mean, it's just that's how everybody gets around, right? They crank up a car and the kids and everything. And so what I saw on Facebook today was he posted a video. His truck was blocked in. He needed to go to the store to get some water, so he hopped in his golf cart, went to the store, and the police pulled him over and issued him a ticket for driving his golf cart in Grand Isle.
It's like a $500 ticket. At least that's what the thing states.
I don't know the cost of the ticket, but I'm just what I saw, and it was pretty interesting. So if you're on Grand Isle, stay off the golf carts for the time being until the police tell you.
They're not playing any games in Grand Isle. I really hope that people listen and they do the social distancing, because I don't want them to shut it down. They just opened the beaches for camp owners, and I just wanted to walk the dogs on the beach. So, hopefully they don't close them again.
Oh, that'd be nice. And just so people are aware, Grand Isle, actually launching off of Grand Isle is not allowed for Trout Challenge. If you can launch, the boundaries are listed on the registration, but if you can launch before the barricade, which I think starts right before the Grand Isle Welcome to Grand Isle sign.
Yes.
And you want to paddle there, you are more than welcome to do that, although it's going to be a long paddle. It's not something I would recommend you do, but, we have people that do those sort of things. So anyway, I actually got to go fishing yesterday. I went with Josh Thompson. We met down in Leeville, and we fished couple of different areas. We got up there and started fishing. And I'll say this, if you plan on fishing Leeville, the fish really aren't stacked up. Everybody I've talked to has said they found a fish here, a fish there, a fish there. I haven't been able to really find them stacked up yet. We fished with no tide, and it was a hard day. I ended up catching, I think, 10 keepers. Josh caught a couple. Josh actually caught a really nice trout. It was almost 22 inches, it was in 21 and 3/4 inch, probably 3 or 4 pound trout. It was a real hammer, and he was pretty pumped about that. Water in some parts of Leeville was really dirty. Other parts of Leeville was decent. So if you plan on fishing Leeville for Trout Challenge, you're definitely going to want to, if you can, check out the water conditions a little bit and see if you can find. There's some good water out there. You gotta find it. And really, I think is what's going to be key is if you can find some moving water. Again, we didn't have any water. We did find one little island where some water was getting blown by the wind, and it was really crazy because I think it was a canal and it was creating a little like a funnel effect, and so the wind was blowing water right by this island within a 10-foot area, and we were getting bites almost every cast for about 20 minutes. And if you moved anywhere around the island, there was nothing. If you moved anywhere around the points, there was nothing. Just right where that water was moving. So that was kind of interesting. It was a beautiful day. We had a good time and came back and I think we cooked a little bit of fish last night. So, but anyway, that's kind of my report. I've heard some things about basins and Golden Meadow. People are catching fish in all those places. There's just not any really, really solid reports, at least coming out of kayaks. I've seen some really good reports in some boats. But I think you're having to run around and find that clean water and try to find some moving water. But right now, Friday and Saturday, I don't know if the conditions could be projected to be any better. There's very little chance of rain. The wind's supposed to be down. It's supposed to be sunny. It's going to be high 70s, low 80s. This would be a perfect weekend for Paddlepalooza, which unfortunately we can't have. So, instead of last year we had water spouts. So this would have been the complete opposite of that. So
my husband rode one of those water spouts.
I did ride in one of those water spouts. Me and Josh and Tyler and two other guys, and yeah, it was that was a lot of fun. So, well, look, guys, we've got 3 great ladies on tonight, and we're going to talk to all of them, and we're going to find out about them. And they are a member of the self-called Salty Chicks. Self-named, I think, and I'm assuming the salty comes from y'all's personality, right? I mean, I know you're all a little salty. Yeah, that's what I figured. And chicks, and they are all kayak fishing persons and really great in their own respect. Hart and Sarah, I know, live here in Louisiana. I think Sarah lives in Louisiana. I know Hart does. And Jessica is over in Mississippi. And Jessica, I think we actually had you on before. I know you're one of the officers with the Mississippi Kayak Club. Is that right?
Sir, I will have you refer to me as Madam President.
Madam President of the Mississippi Kayak Fishing Club.
Yes.
So if we had a Madam President, we wouldn't have any crap in our officers. She'd get us all straight, I think, man. We might have to nominate somebody next year that'll, we're all kind of afraid to talk back to. So I think Madam President is busy taking care of her business.
Fouling up the dog over here.
So, Madam President, what has been going on since we last had you on?
Well, the COVID is basically, we kind of started out, and we kind of dipped the toe last fall in the CPR, just kind of to check it out. And we had some CPR events planned for this year to kind of work into our, because we only do the one event or the one big event, Crooked Letter, which is our kind of one tournament of the year. But we had kind of worked in to do 4 other CPR tournaments. But since that has kind of been thrown for a loop, where we've added 3 more CPR tournaments now. And so we're kind of going with that. And it's great that Tourney X is there to be able to kind of utilize with that. People get out and compete.
It really is. Tell us a little bit, give us a little bit of background about you. I know it's been a while since we had you on. I know you come out and fish a lot of Bayou Coast events with your husband, and but y'all live in Mississippi. I remember you're in some little, is it a little town in Mississippi?
It's Darbin, Mississippi.
Darbin, right.
Closer. So if you look on a map, look in between Hattiesburg and Macomb, and that's where it will be.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Now, Tyler Caldwell knew you were coming on, and he wanted me to ask you, how's our cow doing, and is it ready for slaughter?
Sure.
Because
Yeah, he's actually got some. He's got some right now that he's about to ship off to a feedlot.
because last year you said you were going to be fattening it up for us, and this was a year ago. So Tyler and I are ready. We both got those pit bosses, and we're looking to start smoking some meat,
Yep.
some beef ribs and stuff.
So that comes to the most recent price that he gave me is $3.25 across the board, processed a pound. That's everything: steaks, hamburger, all of it. You pick the cuts.
$3.25 a pound. And how many pounds am I looking at for a cow?
Well, a dressed out 3,000 pound steer.
Oh my God, I'm gonna have to get investors.
Well, but so a 3,000 pound steer, there's a lot of stuff that you knock the hooves and the tail and all of that off of it.
Take off about 10 pounds there. I still got 2,900 pounds.
You end up with about I think it's about like 2,600 hanging weight.
Hanging weight.
Yeah.
Do you take eggs and trade? I've got some friends that process their own eggs. Between Ben and Tyler, I could probably get you a couple hundred dozen.
No, I've got some girls out back. They pick out the breakfast items.
So Jessica, tell us. I know. So aside from raising cows and stuff, what else do you do?
I work at a restaurant with my friends. Been in the food service industry for about 20 years now.
Yeah.
Tell my age there. But yeah, other than that, me and my husband got into kayak fishing probably 10 years ago, and then got into the tournament scene more heavily about 4 years ago, and just haven't looked back.
And y'all are a lot of fun to hang out with, and you usually go together. And I know y'all friends with Todd and Trisha, and when y'all come down. So what kind of kayaks are you guys hopping around in these days?
We are both currently in the Slayer Native Watercraft Slayer Max, which y'all are giving away one of those
Absolutely.
For the championship.
Absolutely. Good kayak. I know a lot of people.
Loving it.
Really like
I'm loving it.
Yeah. Did you have you ever used a Hobie?
I've dabbled and played around in them a little bit. It's just not really my style.
Yeah, and so I'm just kind of curious because you've been in both. What do you like? Having been in both, what do you like more about the native as compared to the Hobie? Because you see people kind of going back and forth, and I know you really can't go wrong with either, but some people have a preference.
Man, you can ask anybody that I fish with. I pretty much beat the crap out of my drive all the time, and run it into a breakwater. Me and Trisha did that down at Joshua's for Fallen Tide the year that the water was so high.
Yeah.
He broke a fin. I, however, bounced off and just kept on going there. Yeah, it's things like that. I mean, I can ram it into an oyster bed, instant reverse, all of that. I've got my maintenance guy in-house, so.
That's nice. So tell us a little bit about the Salty Chicks. How long has it been kind of a thing? How did it get going? Who started it? And then the other girls.
Robin kind of started it. Robin Bordelon, she started it. She asked for me and Sarah and some other ladies to be a part of an article for Louisiana Sportsman. Chris authored that.
Chris Holmes
took it and ran with it. We were on an episode of Bayou Wild recently, which Sarah's been on a couple of those.
Yeah.
And it's been pretty cool, I mean, it's not anything for profit, and it's not anything for, accolades or anything like that. It's just a group to kind of, let other chicks know that there's other chicks out there that like to go out and really fish.
Right. And they don't need a guy to take them along and hold their hand to do it.
Indeed.
Because I've seen some of you guys fish, and I hear some of the guys, and I'm not going to name names, but I hear some guys, I'd go, my wife's holding me back, or my girlfriend's holding me back, and I'm thinking that's just not the case. I know some of these girls can really fish, and I know you were for a while. You were in the last year the top 15 of the Angler of the Year series, I think, or you were doing really good.
I just couldn't get a top 10 finish, man.
Yeah.
as far as points went, I was doing pretty good, but I couldn't get a top 10 finish.
So, did you qualify for the championship last year?
No, I did
No,
not. My
but see
husband
now,
did.
but this year we've got the wild card stuff. So if you actually fish the tournaments and you're in the top 10 and you hadn't qualified, there's a good shot that you would qualify for the championship for Bayou Coast. So that'd be good. And I mean, brand new native slayer on the
Yep.
line of the championship plus a couple.
I mean, I could
$1,000.
always use another one of those.
You could always use that, and what, $2,500 in cash or $2,000 or
Absolutely.
something like that. So, a little stimulus, a little Bayou Coast stimulus money going around there. So that'll be good. That'll be good. So, you fish a lot out of Mississippi mostly?
Yeah, mostly Mississippi. Which of course we've been pushed east here lately as of the last year or so, and looks like even more so now. We've kind of been pushed east for this because of the spillway. So we've gone, east of Gulfport has kind of been our stomping grounds this last year and a half or so. So we've kind of got to explore that a little more.
So is because the river levels and everything pushing all that river water down there is really affecting the west side of Mississippi. So y'all are having to go more east.
Absolutely. All my good flounder spots are blowed out right now, and chocolate milk and super duper fresh, and good trout spots that we would hit for the summertime whenever they're, spring, summer transition when they were on their way out, we could find them. Not right now.
Not right now. So how's the fishing down Mississippi been so far this year, as far as when you're going east?
It's been pretty good. We were in Greenwater the other day. I really had to kind of check myself, and I guess it was because all the south wind had some really clean, like, green water pushed in. The glass minnows are everywhere right now, everywhere.
Really?
Yeah. Like, you look down and they're there, swarms of them. It's crazy.
So how's the trout fishing been very good?
It's okay. We've the ones we've been finding recently have had a good little bit of roe in them, so we know that they're kind of in that transition to going out. But
you've counted the eggs to see how full the egg sacs are?
Oh yeah. Oh, I mean, I clean all the fish, so I get to see all of that.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Very good, very good.
I've got a pretty sweet deal worked out with the hubby there. He cleans the boats and I clean the fish, so.
That's not a bad deal. Of course, I sometimes just take the hose and hose mine off and just say, I'll get it next time because, by the time it gets that dirty, I'll buy a new one in a couple of years and just, knock that top layer of slime off and it's good. So right now, Mississippi, are you guys with a stay-at-home order like Louisiana?
We are. Yeah.
So
we are. Some counties have curfews, and that also is kind of done also by city.
Yeah.
Yeah. The boat ramps are open though. The piers are not open and the beaches are not open, but I think they're looking at maybe opening that up soon. We'll see if they push it back or what.
And that's got to be tough, especially for some areas like Biloxi where a lot of the businesses are the casinos and the restaurants. And I mean, I'm sure the casinos aren't open right now. I mean, that's got to be huge.
I know a lot of the casinos donated to food pantries and food banks. But yeah, they've been shut down for almost a month now.
Yeah. And I would think that's going to be a while.
With the spillway and with the shutting down of that, the Mississippi Gulf Coast is really hurting right now, honestly.
Yeah. And I'm sure you were working in the restaurant industry. So is your place that you're working, is it still operating? Is it still
we are still operating. We've been operating through this. We've, of course, employed extra sanitation measures and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But we're closing down. We're open today, but my friend is going in to have a baby. So we're actually going to close down for about 2 weeks. So I get some time off. I'm going to go in a few days and do some things. But so your girl is free. Y'all hit me up. You want to go fishing?
Are you coming down and fishing this weekend? For Trout Challenge?
I'm thinking about it. I
You
may hit up my buddy Jamie, and me and him go down, and I'll just tow Aaron's boat and leave it on the trailer, and he can come meet us Saturday.
You should. It's going to be beautiful. I'd love to have you guys down there and participating. And who knows, you might be back on Saturday night if you're in the top 3. I think, Ben, we're we do these CPRs. We do, no one knows until the announcement's made, and we're doing them live that night. So if you get that phone call around 6:30, you at least finish in the top 3. So it should be a lot of fun.
I'm looking for that qualifier.
Yeah, absolutely. Top 15. That's all you need. Top 15. So, about how many girls do you have in the Salty Chicks, roughly?
Well, I mean, it's not really an official number or group or nothing. Nothing's really official about it. There's Sarah. It's hard. I mean, have you met a Salty Chick kayak fishing? Then they're a member.
I actually have an honorary membership into the Salty Chicks. I got.
Yes, I did forget that Stella made you an honorary member.
Stella made me an honorary member a couple of years ago at Lake Hermitage for the championship. So
yeah.
I got to visit. Yeah,
that T-shirt.
Exactly. I still have it somewhere in my drawer along with the other gag shirts that people in the club seem to give me for some reason. So I don't know why people like picking on me, but I guess I'm an easy target. So, but it's good. I enjoy. I haven't talked to Stella in a while. I haven't seen her fishing. I don't know if she's still out there fishing with the kayaks or anything.
She's wrapped up with the kids and homeschooling and all of that right now.
Yeah, it's been a big change for a lot of people with everything going on. So, but we're glad to see you staying healthy and COVID free, and everything like that. We sure hope to see you down there this weekend.
Indeed. I'll be there, man.
All right. Well, we're going to move on over to Hart now. Hey, Hart, how are you doing?
Hey, Sean, I'm good. How are you?
Good. Look, Hart was kind enough to get all duddied up for us tonight. So,
try.
So for people that don't know you, how old are you, Hart?
I am 25.
25, and you currently live in Springfield, Louisiana, right?
I do.
Yeah. And so kind of give us an idea where that's at.
So I would say that it's like between Slidell and Baton Rouge. It's kind of right outside of Hammond.
Okay. So yeah, it's right off of I-12 then.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're up there on the North Shore, not too far from some pretty good fishing areas. So that's good. So how long have you been kayak fishing?
I've been kayaking for about 2 years now. I started in 2018. That spring, I bought my first kayak.
Yeah? How did you get into it?
So I have a good buddy on Facebook. He's actually part of the group. Shout out to Trevor Farkas. And I would see him post photos all the time on Facebook of him and his Hobie with the big redfish. And I'm like, man, it looks so much fun. Because I had been bank fishing. I'd go down to Grand Isle. But I really wanted to get on the water somehow. So I reached out to him and got some advice. And he recommended me some good brands. And I started off with a Jackson. And I really loved that one. It was a paddle kayak. I still have it, actually. I go out sometimes in it.
And so, but then you got kind of hooked and you upgraded to?
I told you 2018, but I have a 2019 Hobie Compass.
It's a Hobie. Yeah. And that's a great kayak for, especially for somebody, and I could probably use a compass over the Outback, and when I get older, I probably will switch to a compass.
It's
just
a
so
good
save some wear and tear on the back.
Yeah.
But so I know you started fishing. I remember last year at Paddlepalooza, you were on the flounder leading up to the tournament. You were just nailing them. You were sending me pictures, and I was like, just driving me nuts. She's got like, just a kayak full of flounder, and it's like, save some, stop catching. So you were really on them. I mean, you kind of hooked into it, and catching flounder is not easy. It takes a lot of people a lot of time to learn it, and you were on it. And I know, unfortunately, you couldn't find one on tournament day.
Well, I didn't get the chance to try because we got hit with that bad weather, and it really spooked me. And I'm like, I'm not even going to go back out because my trout and redfish spot were in the same area, but I had to pick my kayak up and drive to the next spot to find the flounder. And I was just like, I'm not even about to try to go back out.
Yeah, but you ended up placing though, didn't you? Didn't you win the women's?
I won first in the women's division.
Yeah, and that's awesome. That's awesome. So you've been fishing for 2 years now out of a kayak,
I
and
have.
yeah, and you've done really good. I mean, I know you fished some tournaments. You enjoy fishing the tournaments?
I do. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you get out there, and I mean, there's no hand holding. You launch by yourself. You get the kayak. You get the fish. You bring them in.
Yeah.
You take them off the hook. You
Yep.
know, it's fantastic to watch you get out there and seeing someone kind of young and getting into the sport and doing that. So tell us a little bit about yourself. You're 25. You live in Springfield. What do you do for a living?
So I'm currently employed at an environmental firm in
Mhm.
Hammond. I've been there for right under a year now total.
Hmm.
And I'm basically a field biologist, so I'll go out and assist with anything that they need. But right now, with everything going on, they've got me staying around the office doing office work.
Yeah, and you and Sarah work together. Is that right?
We do.
Yeah, I remember seeing
Wow.
a picture that y'all had posted, and I don't know, you're messing around with the frogs, and she's with the snakes, or you're with the snakes, and she's with the frogs, and I'm thinking, I don't want to be around any of this stuff.
Yeah,
And
that's
here you
me.
guys, yeah, poking them with the stick and stuff. Look at this great rattlesnake I found. It's like, I'm like, oh, back up. So, what do y'all do out there with the company when y'all go out there and doing the biology stuff?
Sarah, do you want to explain a little bit?
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay. So we mostly in the field will do wetland delineations, which is basically we go out and look at soils, vegetation, and hydrology, and we map out the wetlands on a property, where they are, how big they are, what they connect to. We also deal with mitigation banks.
Mhm.
So we set those up. But sometimes I just tell people that I feed mosquitoes for a living.
That's got to be tough when you get out there at certain times of the year, especially with the bugs. So, do y'all go out there and actually determine what area is considered a wetland and what area may qualify as a wetland?
Yep. And
Okay,
then we submit our reports to the Army Corps of Engineers.
Okay, and then once it's designated a wetland, is that kind of put in like a protected status or something?
Not necessarily. It just means if a project is going to impact a wetland or destroy it, then they have to pay mitigation.
Ah, okay. Well, that's interesting. Well, we're going to get back to you, Sarah, because I know you've got some really interesting stories as well. So, Hart, you've been doing that for a year, and you're in your Hobie Compass. You plan on fishing Trout Challenge?
Oh,
coming up?
absolutely.
Yeah.
I haven't got to pre-fish yet for it, but I'm going to try on Friday.
There you go. So, what's your favorite place to fish?
So I started out in Grand Isle. I'm pretty confident in that area. I really like Grand Isle, but Hopedale's a close second.
Oh, really?
I really only fish 3 places. I'll go to Pack, Hopedale, and Grand Isle.
Huh. Have you ever fished down Highway 23?
Haven't. I'd like to,
That's
but it's like 2.5 hours from me, so it's a long drive.
yeah.
You gotta go
They
through
got
the
some.
city. Can be a
some-
pain.
Yeah, some areas can be a little bit, but if you can get down there to Lake Hermitage is so easy to get to. As far as once you're down there, the distance you have to travel to fish is so close, which is one of the benefits I think as compared to some of the areas I go to. I know, like when I go to Golden Meadow, it's a short drive, but man, that's a long paddle to get to some of the areas where you fish.
Mhm.
So it kind of all balances out a little bit.
Mhm.
So what about fishing style? What do you like throwing, and what do you like fishing with?
So actually, up until 2 years ago, when I first started kayak fishing, I threw live bait only.
Mm-hmm.
Me too.
So once I got my kayak, I was like, well, I'm pretty good with live bait. Let me start learning how to artificial. So I started reaching out to some people. I started doing a lot of research, watching a lot of YouTube. And, I kind of got an idea of what I needed. I got some good baits, and I just went out there and started trying it until I started catching stuff.
And here you are, and you feel pretty comfortable when you go out now. You're going to catch fish.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like that is like key in actually using an artificial is having confidence in the bait.
That's true.
Big time.
There's some baits that I know people catch fish with, and it's like I throw it, and I just don't catch anything with it. I'm just done.
Exactly.
I'll fish with it for 10 minutes, and then, I'm just done with it.
go what you're comfortable with,
Yeah. Ben, don't we have some good pictures of Hart that she gave us? Why don't we put them up on the screen? You can tell us a little bit about it. I can't actually see him the way this system
is
put up, but
Hart and her pickup truck and her kayak.
So what are you driving, Hart?
It's a
kind
Toyota.
I got a Toyota Tacoma.
Oh, well,
it's clean. It's all black, gray.
How you giving it away, Ben? I mean, people are going to know when they see that black and gray Tacoma. That's Heartstrike.
They're going to know anyway, Sean. I got stickers all on the back. I got Yak Tribe. I got a speckled trout and a redfish. You can't miss my truck.
But do you have like heart on it? You need to put a big heart on it so people really know.
I do have a Salt Life heart. I don't have my name on there, but it's symbolic.
It's symbolic. That's true.
I got the next one of you standing up in your compass with the big redfish.
With the redfish. So I caught that one down Old Highway 1. I got some good spots out there, and I usually do really well.
It was in Leeville, wasn't it?
It's a big.
Was it in Leeville?
I guess you could say it's right off Old Highway 1. I have a spot that I launched.
Yeah. I think I remember that picture.
And
I think you sent it to me when you caught it. You were out fishing.
And then there was another one caught on the top water that you recommended about the same size.
I remember that. Yeah.
He looks like 33 plus.
He was pretty big. I don't think I measured that one, but the next one that you have, that one was massive. I would say he was at least 43 inches.
Wow.
Good grief.
He was flush with the kayak, and I was holding him up.
You got a good boat ride out of that little.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I got a picture of like a group of the salty chicks.
Is that the one when they're in the kayaks?
No, so they're holding up T-shirts and plaques.
That was the Women's Spectacular, the second annual one last year's.
In PAC.
Yeah.
Yeah. What? You took second?
No, I didn't place the first time I fished it. I placed second this year.
Yeah.
The most recent one.
I think Jessica, didn't you place or win it one year? First place. I knew it was one of you guys finished over there. So that's
last year. No, Sarah won it the 2 previous years.
That's right.
Just last year, number 1.
Just last year, number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Hart, I wanted to say I had no idea that Trevor Farkas got you into fishing. It's a small world because I deployed. I went to Afghanistan with Trevor, so I know him really well. And
that's awesome.
I constantly ask him questions when I first got into kayak fishing, and I'm really excited because he just got a new kayak recently, and he's fishing Trout Challenge. I found out a couple days ago, so.
He's like calling you and asking you questions now, Ben, I think, huh?
His mom lives right across the street from me, so that's how I know him.
Oh, okay. That's crazy. Small world. I had no idea.
It sure is. That is wild. So, Hart, do you fish the bigger tournaments as well, Paddlepalooza and Fallen Tide?
I didn't fish Fallen Tide, but I fished Paddlepalooza this past year.
Yeah, and so and that's always a lot of fun. I know Falling Tide it's a little bit different. A lot of people are intimidated by Highway 23, although this year it's going to be down Highway 1 for the Hobie Worlds. And hopefully we're still going to get to have it. I mean, I think come hella high water, we're going to do it. I mean, even if we have to do a CPR, well, it's going to be a CPR, but even if we have to do it to where we're going to just, okay, no gathering, whatever, we're going to do it. I mean, I will push and groan and moan and bash heads until they agree to it. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, but what an opportunity. I mean, that's really kind of like anybody can win it, because it's 3 fish. And I mean, imagine winning that and then qualifying for the Hobie World Championship somewhere, Sweden or New Zealand or something crazy like that, 25 and going someplace like that. Was that It's hard. I thought your light fell at first. Just
not yet, Sean. Don't jinx me.
No. So we're good. So have you given any thought about where you're fishing this weekend?
I kind of have. I'm thinking of maybe Basons just because that's where I did pretty well last month. But other than that, I had somebody recommend me somewhere in Fushan that I might try.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That
So,
sounds
but
good.
I don't ever fish over there, so I'm kind of on edge about trying that. But I do have a day on Friday that I'm going to give it a go. Just try a couple different spots.
So you going up Friday?
I am.
You staying up there Friday night?
Probably not. I'll probably drive home and then back in the morning.
Cool. Yeah.
That's
I know
brutal.
yeah, that is brutal. There's some people staying at Galliano Inn.
Right?
Yeah. I think they're gonna cook, but they're not gonna like get together. Be like, I think Eric Stacy's gonna be making a big Alfredo or pasta or something like that, and then letting people. So if you and you get a friend together, I think Galliano Inn's renting rooms. I think they're like $60 a night. So
Okay.
it's super cheap, and it makes it a whole lot easier getting up in the morning and driving there, because it's going to be at 5:45 lines in. I think we're going to have a lot of people getting to the water early and trying to get to these spots for this trout. It's only 5 trout, so I mean, you catch 2 or 3 good trout, and I mean, you're sitting a really good spot. And I know there's some big trout being caught right now. They're catching some trout on the beaches, I hear, in Grand Isle, but they're not fully there yet. There's still a lot of trout out in Golden Meadow and Leeville and Basons, I'm sure. So, well, let's go on over to Sarah. I know Sarah shows up every year at Paddlepalooza, and I think that's the only tournament I ever see her at. But she's always there, and because it's always the same group of girls, I think, that hang together for that. So, Sarah, where do you live at? Where are you from?
Mandeville.
You're in Mandeville. Is that where you're from?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so we certainly know that you work in the wetlands research biology, however y'all do it with heart. But how did you get into kayak fishing?
I've been kayak fishing since I was about 7 years old, with my dad.
That was
So
before kayak fishing was cool.
Yeah, it was. We got crazy looks. Like, we were in a double kayak. I was in the front. He was fly fishing behind me, and I was ducking down, trying not to get hit with his line. And people were just like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Was it freshwater or saltwater that y'all were doing back then?
Saltwater.
Saltwater.
Oh, nice.
And so, geez, since you were 7, I don't want to guess your age, but I'm guessing you've got to have been doing it for at least 15 years. You're 21 years you've been kayak fishing.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And so tell us a little bit about the kayak, because you go different. You're not in the dressed out with the Hobie and the PA and the 360 and all that. You're very basic when it comes to your kayak. Is that right?
Yeah. So
I'll put a picture of it up
when
there.
I first started going out on my own, I bought a Pelican. I think it was called the Catch 100. It didn't even have a name. It was like $100 at Academy. But I needed something that I could load by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Because I moved down to Thibodeau for work and I didn't know anyone. So I would roll my back window down in my 4Runner and stick it through the back window. And it weighed 35 pounds, so I could just do anything with it. And yeah, so I fished out of that for 3 years. And then recently I got a Hurricane Sweetwater, which is really cool because I can stand up now, which definitely helps with fly fishing because you're sight fishing.
Right. And I was worrying about that because I know that you like to fly fish, and I remember seeing a picture. I think that you were in a Pelican. I was thinking, how is she fly fishing out of a Pelican? I mean, I don't know if you could stand up in it or not. I would think it'd be very difficult. I think she froze on us. Anyway, for you guys that don't know, and we're waiting for Sarah to get back, she's a big fly fisherman. And I know that I don't know much about the Hurricane kayak. Is anybody else familiar with that?
Hurricane kayaks and Liquid Logic are known for their super lightweight boats. A lot of them are thermoform, not the thermoform. Yeah, the thermoform. So they're the two pieces, molded together. But I think Sarah's coming back in here.
Yeah, my wife likes that.
Sarah.
That's okay.
Sarah,
we were just talking actually about your kayak. I haven't really heard too much about the Hurricane. Can you kind of tell us a little bit about that particular kayak?
Yeah, I personally think that Hurricanes are the most underrated kayak in kayak fishing. My boat weighs 52 pounds.
That's pretty light for a kayak.
Wow. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
really light.
Yeah.
And I can stand up. It's super stable. My dad is 67 and he can stand up in it just fine. And it's a paddle kayak, but
No.
Yeah, she got locked up again on us, and this happens to me. It used to happen to me a lot when I was running it. So
Oh, and now Sean froze up.
there you
in
go.
my back.
Yes.
The only one not froze up. How we going here?
So the kayak. I mean, who sells the Hurricane kayaks?
I believe Everything Kayak in Mississippi has them, and Backpacker in Lafayette.
Okay, and it's a paddle kayak. They don't come with the drive or anything.
They do make a pedal kayak as well, but
Oh, do they?
Yeah, they do. But for fly fishing, because you're not really, it's more of a stop and stalk. You know, you're not working a bank, just hammering, making constant casts. I don't really pedal and fish at the same time, so I just don't really use that.
So you do a lot of fly fishing. Do you do any conventional fishing at all, or is it almost always fly?
It's almost always fly. I actually showed up to Paddlepalooza last year with no spinning tackle. I thought it was in my tackle bag and it wasn't. So I fished with what was given in the goodie bag.
On a fly rod?
No, I brought my spinning rod, but then we got sucked up in a water spout anyway. So
yeah. So, what areas do you like to fish when you're, when you're fly fishing? What are your favorite areas to go to?
I really like Leeville and Grand Isle as well. Recently, I've been fishing more down LA 23, and going over to Hopedale somewhere too.
Okay, what areas down Highway 23 do you normally go to when you're fishing?
Joshua's around there.
Okay. So that's a pretty good drive for you coming in from Mandeville. You're probably looking at about 2 hours or 2.5 hours or so, huh? Yeah. So with the Hurricane, the type of seat it has, is it got the sit in, or is it like the sit on top, like they have with the newer Hobies and the natives and stuff?
It's a sit on top.
Okay. Ben, do we have any pictures?
Yes. Yeah, I showed pictures.
Okay.
So they're made by it's the same company as Native.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's actually
cool.
Yeah, the same. They just Hurricane is more the lightweight side of things. So they're all thermoform plastic. But I've taken it over oyster beds and launched it on gravel, and it's been fine.
It's been pretty tough. So you normally, I take it, when you're sight fishing, you're normally fishing for redfish then, huh?
Yep.
Anything else you sight fish for with a fly rod?
Sheep's head.
Sheep's head. Those things you can see.
On a fly rod are tough.
What kind of lures and tackle, like brands and stuff? I don't know anything about fly fishing. I'm trying to learn myself.
So my dad ties all my flies.
Oh wow!
And he makes my rods too.
Wow!
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that is really cool.
So it's kind of like our bond.
It's hard enough to get a sheep's head, on a regular hook. You got to get like a bit dead piece of shrimp a lot of times to get them to bite, just because their mouth's so hard without teeth. So you could actually sight fish them with the fly rod and a little fly. I mean, they don't just gnaw up those flies with those teeth.
Yeah, the hook set is tricky. They'll definitely spit it a lot of times, and they're so spooky when you're sight fishing them. So it's an art form, but that's what makes it fun.
Yeah, I mean, I know people that fly fish. I know Chuck, Snake Doctor Charles Minter. He does a lot of fly fishing down in Delacroix and everything. what's a good day for you for redfish? Because I know that is really just you're spending the whole day stalking these fish, looking for them, and then really trying to get that bait, that placement for those fish. It's something I probably don't have the patience for. So I mean, a good day. How many redfish are you hooking?
I've had days with 10 plus redfish from my kayak on fly rod.
Wow.
Yeah, it's definitely
a challenge. I think she was going to say a challenge. I'm pretty sure is what the next words coming out of
I'm
my mouth.
back.
Yeah. Are you in a hotel, Sarah?
Frozen. I am actually. Yep.
Yeah, I saw the AC over there on the side, and I was thinking most people don't have that at their home. I wouldn't think it looks like a hotel. I stay in enough hotels for work. I kind of start realizing what a hotel internet connection is like, and I figured,
Yeah, you did some shows from hotels before.
Yeah.
I have.
I'm from traveling.
Do you fish a lot of tournaments, Sarah?
What other thing?
Oh, we were talking about sheep's head and their teeth.
Yeah, I would say I fish probably about 2 or 3 tournaments a year.
Mm-hmm.
I started out doing them just because I didn't know anyone and I wanted to meet some people. So now I'd say I'm not quite as into trying to place, trying to get first as now I like seeing my salty chicks.
Yeah. It'd be great. And something we thought about is adding a fly division even to some of those bigger tournaments like the Paddlepalooza or Fallen Tide to add another little element to it. I think would be really cool. It's probably something I think some people get into when you kind of get, well, I've caught enough redfish, I caught enough trout, I can do that. I love fishing, but I want to try something new. And it's something that's very challenging. I mean, to sit there and to go slow enough. It's hard enough to find redfish when you're slow. You've got to find some clean water and have some good glasses and be very, very patient with that. But what's the most challenging part about sight fishing redfish you find?
Yeah, I would say, learning can be hard. I would say my tip for anyone starting out fly fishing would be, don't bring your spinning rod in the boat.
Yeah.
Because you're going to want to use it, but that's not how you're going to learn. The most challenging part, was just you're going to have a lot of mistakes. You're going to have a lot of misses. It takes a lot of patience.
You're not blind casting while you're fly fishing. I mean, everything you're aiming for is just, you're basically looking for the fish in order to put the fly right on it. Is that typically how it goes?
If it's like I fish there's a fly tournament down at Pack once a year that I fish. So if it's like a tournament day and there's no sun and it's windy and you can't see anything, then I will blind cast. But for the most part, it's I'll pull up into a pond and stop and just look for 5, sometimes even 10 minutes, see what I see. Mm-hmm. And then once you have that fish, you probably 1, maybe 2 shots at it. So it's a little more high pressure. It's fun.
Did they spook easily with the fly? I mean, if you don't get it on the first or second cast, does that fly normally kind of spook them a little bit?
So here's what I found. An advantage for fly fishing from a kayak is since you're not up as high, they don't see you as well. So you can get a lot closer in a kayak than you can from a poling skiff.
Do you use the floating flies or the sinking ones, or what colors?
I use both. Redfish, they aren't, it's in Louisiana, they aren't super picky, so we're nice. Okay. Purple is a really good color, chartreuse, any kind of shrimp patterns, crab patterns.
How do you work the fly? You just pull it basically and look slow, like crimp it? Yeah,
I do little 6-inch, it's called a strip when you're pulling the line in, little 6-inch quick strips. Yep, and you want to present it at like a 45-degree angle coming across it, so it looks natural.
You know, Bill, we'll probably do is because I know we've got some people out there that ask these questions and are probably interested. Is probably just do a fly fishing edition.
That'd be
This I
cool.
know we can get a couple of people, Sarah and maybe Snake Doctor on to talk about like the general setup you need, especially with a kayak. I'm sure you're going to have like I don't know. I know there's just all kinds of things you need to go fly fishing,
I
but
find it really interesting, and
yeah,
compared to the freshwater fly fishing, to me, I felt like there's not that much information about the saltwater fly fishing as much compared to the freshwater. But
it seems like it'd be a lot of fun. Well, if there's some girls out there watching the show and, they're also looking for other girls to maybe fish with or to help them get involved in the sport, if they wanted to find out more about the Salty Chicks, how would they do that? Is there like a website or is there a Facebook page or how would some of these girls do that?
We've got a Facebook page and a Facebook group. Mostly the group is, I think it's about 100 or so, somewhere
Really?
around there. Yeah, I haven't really looked at the numbers lately, but I think it's around 100.
That's awesome. And so what's the Facebook group called?
Salty Chicks.
Salty
Chicks
Chicks.
Kayak Fishing.
Salty Chicks Kayak Fishing. So we've got any ladies out there that are interested and maybe they want to reach out to some of these girls and get some advice about kayaks or fishing or spots or, maybe places they can fish. They'd feel safe, leaving the car and going out in the kayak. I'm sure you guys can reach out to the Salty Chicks on Facebook and reach out to Sarah or Jessica or Hart. I'm sure they'd be more than happy to take you in and help you out, learn the ropes on some of these things. Well, I hope we see some of you guys out there this weekend. I know Hart, you're going to be out there, and hopefully Jessica, Sarah. I don't know. Do you have any plans on being out there this weekend? It's going to be gorgeous.
Not going to make it this weekend.
No, although I suspect this weekend will be an awesome day for fly fishing. It's supposed to be bright and sunny and very little wind.
No.
Yeah, I had a friend today that was out in Saint Bernard, and he was sight fishing. I won't say where he was at because he may get mad at me, but he was out in Saint Bernard using a black spoon sight fishing reds, and he said they were everywhere. Matter of fact, he had like half a dozen crabs, big blue crabs. He netted. He said the crabs were everywhere too. So I'm really looking forward next month. We have the Where You At tournament, which is going to be a couple reds and a couple bass down in Saint Bernard. So that's going to be a real fun tournament, and that's actually something you could probably do some fly fishing with over there. It won't be trout. But well, look, guys, We've got a tournament coming up on Saturday. It's the Trout Challenge, the Bayou Coast again, first CPR tournament. The boundaries are going to be basically, and I know I get some questions about this a lot. It's going to be based from Bassons all the way south. So the only limitation on the launch is that you can't launch on Grand Isle itself on the island. You can launch anywhere leading up to it, right before the Welcome to Grand Isle sign. After that, it's barricaded. We just don't want to give anybody an advantage who can launch on the island that may have a camp there, or that's, I don't know, say Ben Dane's got a camper over there for the month and would have an advantage. So basically, this is the Ben Day rule. That you cannot launch from the island, but you are free to fish the island if you can get there by launching on it. So other than that, everything else is open. Leeville, Golden Meadow, Port Fourchon, all those areas are open for trout fishing. It is going to be your best 5 trout stringer. Again, if you want to check the rules and make sure that you're measuring the fish right, that you're going to get the photos submitted right, there are possibility deductions. Not so much of a deal for trout as it is for redfish, but take a look at the rules. You got to make sure the mouth is closed. Make sure the tail's on the board. Make sure you submit the pictures. There's a couple of different things. So we had a couple of test run tournaments. I think the last time we had some pretty good submissions, a lot better than the first one. There are only 3 boards that you're allowed to use for this tournament. It's getting narrowed down, and there's reasons behind that. And if anyone has any questions as to why only certain boards are allowed, feel free to give me a call. But this has been a long, and I think any officer will tell you, a heavily debated topic. So, I can understand frustration if you have to go out and get a new board, but, just know that we're trying to do the best we can here. So obviously you can have a catch board. There's, I think, a hog trough is legal, and the new Check and Stick Kayak Elite Series board We sold those. We're actually getting some more coming in. So you want to check those out. It's going to be a launch and lines end time is the same thing. It's at 5:45. You can stage in the area, but don't go forth. So 5:45, you can put your kayak in. You can start fishing. You can start submitting fish. Your fishing cutoff is 3 o'clock. So you can fish until 3, and you can take pictures until 3. Submission time, though, the deadline for submission is not until 4. So you can actually fish until 3. The reason for that is if you're in a bad area with your cell phone service, this will allow you time to get back into an area a little bit closer in. Although I think for the most part, most of those places out there, Golden Meadow, Leeville, you're going to have cell phone service in most of those places. It shouldn't be an issue. But if there is, then you have to have your all your photos submitted by 4. If your pictures are taken after 3, it'll pick up the metadata and the fish won't be allowed. Try to submit your fish when you catch them. One of the great things about this is that the results are live. They'll be posted on TourneyX. You can go on the app and check out the standings, and you can see the places change by the minute. 1 minute somebody will be in first, the next minute they may be down in 5th. I think at the last tournament we had, that was a practice tournament, we had like 3 lead changes in 15 minutes in first place. And it got really wild at the end. We ended up with a tie for first place that went to the 3rd tiebreaker, which was just awesome. It was a lot of fun. So I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I think you're going to see some big trout caught. Ben, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a 4 or 5 pound trout caught this weekend with just some of the reports I've seen. Again, not big numbers, but I've seen some big fish being caught.
How many inches do you think is going to be the winner? You think it's going to be over 100 or under 90? What?
I think you're probably going to have, I would say, 95 to 100 to win.
And what do you think to top 15? 75, 80?
Let's see, what's that? Well, you know what? 80 would be 5 16-inch trout. I mean, I think you might have to have 85 to finish the top 15.
I bet there'll be like 20 lead changes.
Oh, yeah.
At least.
Yeah. I can't wait to see
those mouths. That's the biggest thing is the trout mouth, because they're gonna pop open until, I mean, sometimes you just gotta sit them on that board and just stare at them.
Sit them on the board and stare at them, right, and just let them.
Yeah.
So, I heard a trick that someone told me at one of the Hobie Bass Open tournaments. If you wet the board and then put the fish on it, for some reason, it helps them. It helps them want to keep the mouth closed. I tried it. Worked with bass. Yeah, worked with bass. I'm not sure about the trout.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so you can try that. Just make sure you get the full fish in the picture. When I was with Josh on Monday, he caught a 22-inch trout, and he blocked all the numbers. You couldn't tell how big it was.
I tried to look so hard. I wanted to know, but there's like no way.
You couldn't see it. And I was like, Josh, it's like if you just submitted that, it wouldn't have counted. It's your biggest trout, and it wouldn't count. So you're going to make sure that camera's up. And, trout aren't as bad as redfish, give them a chance to calm down a little bit. And again, you don't have to throw them back. You can keep them. For a lot of people that want to go out and catch some fish. And
if you keep them and your picture doesn't count, then at the end of the day, you can just, they might have shrank a little bit, but you could still retake the picture when you got back.
Yeah, so, just make sure that you're going to want to take that picture. Make sure before you submit it's a good picture. You can see the lines. You can pinch the tail if you want to try to get a little bit extra length out of it. But that nose has got to be jammed up against the end, and you got to have the lines visible when you take that picture. So get your pictures in, 5 fish. But that's a good point. I was thinking top 15. It's a little bit different than the last couple of tournaments we had because, they were just kind of for fun tournaments. A little bit of money at stake, but we were only paying out like a place or two. This is like 15 places on the line to qualify for the championship. So even if you're sitting there and you're not in that first or second, I'm going to be scrolling down and looking, man, am I in the top 15? Am I, sitting in the top 10? And the great thing is the live leaderboard cuts off at 1 o'clock. So people are still submitting fish after 1, 2, 3, and some people are going to sandbag and not submit any fish until after 3. And so we really won't know until 6:30. I don't know. I'm not even a judge. Ian Gillespie's judging again, and I won't even know until that night. Once Ian gets everything worked up and he's got all the results, and so we'll have the big fish. I think we've got a big fish category.
Yes, mule trout.
Mule trout. and we'll have. But I'm telling you, I really think we're gonna have a couple 4 or 5 pound trout weighed in this weekend. Which would be nice. I really want to see 100 inches.
That'd
That's
be
kind of that
awesome if
magic
100 gets
number.
broke.
Yeah, that'll be that 100 inches is kind of a magic number in the bass world and the trout world. I mean, that's 520 trout, 5 trout that are 20 inches plus, apiece. So I'm anxious to see how people like Brendan and Devin and Steve and them those guys are going to do and get out there. I think if you can find a spot and you can catch a couple of trout, I think my advice would be to just kind of keep moving around because those big trout generally don't congregate. They're not going to be in the same spot. So if you really want to try to get it and you only need 5, you can really hit a couple of places and keep throwing that top water all day and see what you can get. But I'll be honest, when I fished yesterday, I caught maybe had 1 or 2 blowups on top water, and the rest, everything was under a cork. I mean, we caught some big trout under corks yesterday. Good trout under corks. So, if you're not having luck with top water, don't feel like you need to, you need to fish with that all day. The trout, the shrimp actually I've started seeing some bigger shrimp coming in.
They're popping
and you can
all
tell.
over.
Yeah. If you can see a shrimp popping, man, throw that line right there because chances are there's a trout chasing it. So you may just be paddling across a pond or an open body of water with no intentions of throwing it, and you'll see a shrimp popping out in front of you, and there's going to be a trout chasing it. So give it a try. I think we're going to have a good turnout. I know we've got 50 people sign up already.
Yeah, maybe it's been more since last year.
Yeah, I'm hoping we get 60 or 70 people, which I think would be a really big success, especially with everything going on and people having to travel. I know it's not easy for, especially like Jessica. I mean, you're coming in from Mississippi. You're looking at probably at least a 2 or 3 hour drive to get down to a good area, I would imagine.
Oh yeah, it's 2 hours to Golden Meadow.
Yeah.
2.5 hours, and then 3 to Grand Isle. But we can't go to Grand Isle, so.
Yeah, that's a long day when you're getting out there. But the good thing is that if you get out there and you feel like you might place and you don't have to wait around for the award ceremony, you can go home. You could take a shower, you could take a nap, and then maybe you get that phone call at 6:30 saying, "Hey, would you mind coming on, talking to us for a few minutes tonight?" Maybe you want a little bit of money. Who knows? So,
Maybe so.
And look, we've got some nice trophies.
Yeah, that's right. Chad.
Yeah. Chad made some really nice trophies. We had them on. Unfortunately, we had to postpone the tournament last month, but those trophies are still good. I talked to Dan today, and Dan said they're good to go. So we will certainly find a way to get you your trophies.
They're
if
like
you
art.
finish at the top.
Literally.
They're literally art. They are. They're beautiful. So, well, guys, I really appreciate you coming on tonight and getting to talk to you and knowing you guys, getting to learn a little bit more about you. And Hart, Jessica, I hope to see you guys this weekend. And Sarah, if we don't see you for any of the tournaments, I'm sure maybe you'll be down there in for Fallen Tide.
Nope.
And we lost her again. That's okay. But you guys, it was great having you on. I appreciate you coming on. I know it's getting kind of late and some people got work tomorrow and stuff, or Ben's got to go fishing.
Yeah,
Do what Ben does.
No rest for the weary. I got to get ready for this tournament.
No, I know. I got to start cleaning up all my top waters, and as Ben's got me replacing all the hooks on all my treble hooks now. He's convinced me it's the way to go. So I'll probably be spending my day tomorrow replacing 30 or 40 treble hooks.
You got to do it. It makes a big difference.
Yeah, it does. So guys, thanks again. Sarah, I was just saying thank you very much. If we don't see you for any of our tournaments, hopefully you'll be down for Fallen Tide in down Highway 1. So it should be a lot of fun. That, if it goes forward and we can get together in person, is going to be a really good time. I think everybody's going to be looking forward to it if we can make it. So we'll have you guys on again one day. And Hart or Jessica, if y'all are lucky, maybe we'll see you again Saturday night.
Hopefully.
Hopefully so. All right, guys, take care.
Bye.
Thanks,
bye-bye.
guys.
Thanks.